Hello, and welcome to the Stream of Chaos. My name is Dave, and I will be your keeper of arcane lore for this session of Call of Cthulhu. Today we are continuing our ongoing campaign of the Two-Headed Serpent, and you can get your own copy of this book over at chaosium.com. You can also find all of our previous VODs over on the Chaosium YouTube channel, and if you're watching there, we do stream live each week at 3 p.m. Pacific. There is also currently an ongoing stream of the Bookshops of Arkham campaign, which is being hosted on the Roll20 Twitch channel, so do check that out. And all of the VODs for that, the YouTube videos, are collected over on our YouTube channel. So the next one will be launching on Monday Australian time, which I think is Sunday evening for most of the world. So check that out, and then they stream each week on, I think it's Wednesday. Should have had that written down. Anywho, thank you to Roll20 and to Sirenscape for being tools which we use to improve our games. And without further ado, let's return to the disaster at hand. It's not a disaster yet. There's time to spare. So, last session, our friendly heroes, investigators, made themselves, our nasty heroes, investigators, made themselves known to the mafia of New York by infiltrating or walking into a local establishment and setting up a meeting with one of the local goons who would run that invitation up the pole and get them a conversation tomorrow morning. But in the meantime, they've decided to creep out in the dead of night when only bad things happen and investigate the Red Hook docks, where recently a warehouse burnt down, and surely skullduggery is afoot. Now, Hubert Smith has been caught on one side of the fence and is being harangued by the local guards, but the other three have made their way into the docks and are now creeping towards the still standing warehouse secretly owned by Caduceus through the Mafia. We'll run around the table and ask each of you to introduce your investigators, your heroes. If they've got any special heisting equipment, do let us know. And let's begin with Art.
Hi, I'm Art. I'm going to make sure that my microphone is actually pointed at my face. I am playing Lieutenant Aries Carter. My heisting skills are that I am good at removing obstacles made of flesh.
Yes.
And that I currently have 99 luck.
Yes.
So, to the answer of the proverbial question, are you feeling lucky? My answer is, fuck yeah.
Got the gun and the luck to back it up. Very functional.
Oh, and I also have scales, obviously. So, that's the thing.
Yeah, 100%. Scales still coming in, and once those are healed up, you'll have a, sheen of armor.
I wonder whether I'm gonna end up with a forked tongue just by osmosis, or whether I'm gonna have to go full reverse from Firefly and slit my own.
That would be sweet.
Just gonna lick some scalpels.
Immediately insane. Very cool.
Hey, it wouldn't be the first of my characters that has just quietly licked some scalpels.
No, it wouldn't. And it's probably not likely to be the last either.
You know me so well.
Yeah, that's it. All right. Well, speaking of licking scalpels, I guess that's more or less a transition. Dr. Sam, our medic.
Hey, that's me. I'm Jackson. I'm playing Dr. Sam. And I was going to say, as the party's doctor, don't lick scalpels.
Yeah.
But he's not doing very doctory things at the moment because he's sneaking into this warehouse, almost getting caught by guards, failing climb checks to jump over chain link fences, and being separated by his friends in this compound, guided only through the night by his ever-present Falcon companion, Lancet. Things have been worse. Things have been better. But it's probably all going to work out okay in the end.
Back on the
That's
positive
what Dr. Sam's doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So creeping along after the others, a little bit behind and following the Falcon to see where they go, comes Dr. Sam. And next, Jim with Hubert.
Yes, I am Hubert. I am the hefty human with a humongous heart. There's not enough synonyms to make this into a bit. So that's the only one I'm doing. I am the dilettante who has now splashed myself with alcohol to try and look drunk after throwing my friend over a chain link fence, and I'm being rushed at by a bunch of guards. I have not really. This situation has escalated very quickly. and I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do, but we'll figure it out.
Yeah, well, I mean, only a few hours ago this night, you got through a conversation with a mafia soldier, and you didn't know much going into that one either. So how can this be harder?
If you have a plan, you can't improvise, and I'm good at improvising.
I'm not sure that's right.
I read a book.
Okay, that's good. All right, we'll be sure to quote it during the coming
Was it
conversation.
mostly pictures?
Well, I remind you that a picture is worth 1,000 words.
Ooh.
So if you marry it all up,
It's a very long book.
He's spicy today, all right?
Perfect.
It's my only defense for arguing that a Dr. Seuss book is worth as much as a tactics book, but
All right, terrific.
Smash cut to Lieutenant Carter and Hubert sitting in a library poring over books, and it's Sun Tzu's Art of War and Over the Places You'll Go.
Oh, you've got comics behind the real book, and you're just reading it when no one's looking. All right, perfect. And finally, Alex, please introduce Minnie.
Hello, I'm Alex, and I'm playing Wilhelmina St. Clair. Speaking of books, Wilhelmina St. Clair is the daring-do librarian who is rather in her element at the moment, actually, because if we're talking about what we've got that is going to help us with a heist, I have a trait for that. One of my Pop Cthulhu traits, talents, is Shadow. So I get to reduce the difficulty by 1 or gain a bonus die on every stealth roll, so I'm happy.
That's so bonkers.
It's so good. It's so good.
Well, it's always, good to have someone who can get past all the other guards that are looking in the right direction. So I'm sure that will come in handy. Now, let's return to the scene at hand. And, I was going to focus on Hubert, but he's gone to the pub. So let's instead kick Jim into the side of the screen and grab Dr. Sam, Lieutenant Carter, and Minnie as you approach the warehouse. You're right, mate. The three of you have independently crept through these docks, sticking to shadows, and making your way deeper into the compound. You went past the burnt down husk of one of the warehouses. This is the one that made the news, and you know to be owned by, through roundabout ways, basically Cataseus kind of rent it from a legitimate organization that the Mafia runs. So this was a Cataseus warehouse. Mafia actually owned, though. And as you go past it and steer away, you can see that there'd be about 6 guards or so posted up around the perimeter. Lights have been set up and are pointing into the wreckage, which is still sort of creaking down and dust filtering through the air. And a cordon has been wrapped around the perimeter so that no one could accidentally walk into it. Sneaking in is another discussion. Now, inside the wreckage, you can actually see that there are more figures picking their way through it. And just for a glimpse, as you were all steering away from it, you didn't look too closely, you will see that some of them are those more heavily armored guards that are stationed beneath Cataseus, down in those basement areas where that mummy Serpent person along with other artifacts were stored. So they're moving their way through there, along with, looks like they've got some other figures searching the region. Now you stayed away from that and instead slipped along, heading towards the river or the bay that runs along the back of it. And there stands another warehouse with a good alleyway and a half along each side that you can creep into and take a look at. It is a single-story warehouse, although the roof is steepled up so that they could have larger storage containers on the interior. And you can see that there are a number of windows along one section of it, one of which does have a light on in the inside, and you see it's frosted or has a curtain on the interior. A figure does go past it. There are people on the inside. The bulk of it, however, the actual storage section, has no windows looking in, and accessing that is done through 2 heavy bay doors that lead straight out into the bay. So it works quite well. And then there's a hook thing over there that could raise or lower storage containers straight in. A truck would be able to fit there as well. On the other side, facing the rest of the facility, there is a single entrance door that would be used for workers and people just coming and going. The 3 of you are crouched on the outside, looking over. What would the three of you like to do?
Oh, I've
Just to
caught up by this point.
Yeah, I was just about
You
to
will have,
ask.
if they've waited any
Fantastic.
beat or so, yeah, you will have been refound. The three of you can reconvene.
Sorry if you've already mentioned this. I was trolling in chat. But last time, at the end of last session, you mentioned that we could see some lights on in like an office. Is that still the case?
Yes, one light is on in a single office, and you can see a figure at one point move back and forth. The interior will have like a white curtain or something drawn across it, just enough that you can't make out like details of the figure, but you can see there is someone moving.
Okay.
Okay.
So our entrances are directly through the front or potentially through the bay doors.
Yeah,
or
bay
like-
doors would be large and fairly loud, you'd expect.
Yeah.
Whereas the front door will most likely be locked. There are also a couple of windows leading into offices, and there's a chance that there might be something on the roof that you could creep through, like a vent or something. There's always vents in these sorts of situations.
I mean, at a base minimum, I could probably shimmy up with a leg up and check the roof as like an option, unless someone has better climb than I do.
Oh,
Really
Lancet.
good climb.
You do?
Lancet could
All right.
probably take a
Oh,
look.
yeah,
Everything
Lancet
you need
can
to do
probably-
this.
Lancet
can
can't
have a- can
communicate
have a look.
detailed information.
No.
I know. That's why I feel so bad every time I bring it up, because
I mean,
the
one
top
call
talent.
for is there a like skylight and two cores for no.
That's probably feasible.
Like,
yeah,
we don't really want him
more
clawing.
like no. It's more like go up there, have a look around. If there's a place we can get in on the roof, come back and show us where it is. Otherwise, just
I mean, I'm happy to
stick
have a look
close.
in some office windows, but I think the roof sounds just fun.
Love a roof. Love a skylight.
So you'll send Lancet up to take a look at the roof. Is that the idea? And then communicate. And then, Minnie, are you going to creep up closer and take a look through some of the windows, or are you just hanging back for the moment?
I think at the moment I'll hang back. And then if the burb reveals nothing, I might have a look at some windows. I don't think the front door's a good idea. I don't think the double bay doors are a good idea. Roof, priority one. Office windows is yeah, sure. Not as exciting, but sure.
Sure.
I mean, if there are office windows that are dark, that is
Yeah.
worth checking just as a like.
Give him a shimmy. Give him a rattle. Not a rattle, but like a little gentle shove.
There'll be two windows that you can see from this side of the longer section of the warehouse. They're both jammed up near the entrance. Looks like the bulk of it is storage and has no windows looking in. One of them off, the other one on. Okay, so Lancet takes flight and it glides silently through the air towards the window. He alights on one of the roof and for a moment moves around, twisting his head in the now highly risen moon. It's about midnight, pushing towards 1 a.m. After a short beat, he soars around the other side and returns to you. You get the impression that there is something up there. You don't have too much detail into what it is, but he's found something that he sort of scratches out or slams his head
There's a
into
something.
a couple times.
Right. Well, I suppose.
It is not void of interest.
Great. Well, I mean, there's a something up there. He's got something. Should we have a look at the something?
I think we
Well-
should have a look at the something.
Miss Sinclair, do you want to leg up? Have a bit of a nosy around if you see something interesting. You have slightly more vocal ability than our good friend Lancet here.
Well, I can also write a note and drop it on you.
I mean, that works as well, but you also have hands with which to,
I got opposable thumbs.
Whoa. Is that your pulp talent?
Look,
Yeah.
opposable thumbs is one thing. I
Opposable thumbs.
certainly won't underestimate a beak and claws, though. So, anyway, would you like a leg up?
Yes, please.
All right. Try and get closer, probably away from where the windows are.
Oh yeah.
more into
Oh yeah.
where
We're not
really-
doing this near the windows or the light or any. We're going
So-
to a dark corner.
Heading? I guess Carter and Minnie are going to close the distance and try and clamber while Dr. Sam, you just keep a lookout. Is that right? All right.
If you can have Lancer keep a lookout for movement, and if we need
Oh,
it,
we can both look out.
wonderful.
Well, in that case,
He's on the
Lancer can
lookout.
probably stay up on the roof then for the
Yeah.
moments looking out as Sam, you watch the way that you came.
I am honestly not inclined to make another climb roll in this chapter after the
Fair.
fumble last session.
Yeah.
Yeah, but now you got the fumble out of your system. You're fine.
Yeah.
That's
That's how
true.
that
That's how
works,
maths works.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Now that I have
that's
a
how
fumble,
probability
works.
now that I have a
This is how it
fumble,
works.
my next 99 rolls are guaranteed
All
not to be
successes.
fumbles.
Exactly.
This game's easy.
Well, it's not a success, but more
Not successes, but just not fumbles.
If
That's
they're
how maths
not, you can
I've cracked
sue.
it.
Yep.
Oh,
So,
Sue Chaosium?
No.
Who do you work with, Jim?
So, Minnie and Carter close the distance. There's no lights on out here. It's way past operating hours. But the moon is high enough to give you vision to move by, and you dart across to the other side and then are pressed up against the wall. Now it's a very smooth surface. Right up the top, you can see the lid of the roof juts out a little bit, so it'd be a hard climb to get up here. Even with the boost, that's just sort of giving you the leg up to get up and maybe haul yourself to the roof. Your other option is you head along towards the waterfront, where you can see there's a couple of like hook cranes that lean out over it and would give you an easier way up. It'd just be normal. Or go to the front door, where there is a light that sticks straight out over the entrance, and you could get up to that and then into along to the roof from there, because it doesn't stick out as far either. So it'll be hard going straight up here.
Not under the light either. Are the bay doors like barred, and are they quite large?
Okay, so
But they might rattle.
Carter goes towards the edge and looks around. The water is lapping softly against the dock, and you can see it juts out slightly. It is a deep harbor, so that ships can come right up towards here, so you cannot see the ground easily through it. One little dock juts out a little bit, and it can be like raised and lowered, a gangplank, so it can actually connect two ships. It is currently raised, and from here you can see the bay doors are closed, and there is no visible chain or anything on this side, but there are no visible handles either. It's probably handled from inside, and Dr. Sam would be aware, and it's fairly obvious information. This would be, we're past the point of hand operation. There will be an engine or something that can open and close these. There's probably a button on the interior.
With the cranes that are overhanging, what would be, I guess it's just going to be hard to climb this side of the building. What would be the challenge?
Where's the catch?
Cranes? Like what? Yeah.
Where's the catch, please?
Where's the catch?
There might not be one. It looks easier from this side. It might be a little bit louder if you go clanging around, and you don't know what's on the interior, but it definitely seems easier from this point.
We don't know what's on the interior of the crane.
No, you don't know what. Sorry, the cranes are just like jutting out from the roof, and you can get up to it. It's just you've got clambering holds on this side. No visible catch.
Yeah, I'll take the bait. It's definitely bait, but I'm going to take it. Because last time I did a climb roll, I was very, very confident. It's a good climb, and then I nearly fucked it. So...
Dave, this bait looks delicious. You've outdone yourself.
Delicious. It looks tasty. I'm going to take it. Definitely
Fantastic.
bait. Taking it.
So, Carter, you're going to give Minnie a boost up. So, Minnie, can you please give me a climb roll with a bonus dice?
Yes.
Okay. That's a success. You're able to, Carter gives you a leg up and then hoists you onto one of their shoulders. And then from there, you can reach up and almost sort of like, for a very brief moment, it's like a gymnast hoist or a cheerleader's hoist. And then you're up onto one of the crane points. You can haul yourself up. There's an occasional like wrinkle or like clatter of the chains moving, but no more than the wind was doing. And then soon you're on stable ground. And from there, you can sort of shimmy along and towards the roof. Just as you get to this point, you can see that there is a window up at this higher section that would allow some light in during the day. And creeping along here, you can see it's caked with dust and grime, and there are no lights on in the main section, the hangar, but you can very barely make out what look like large containers and stuff, or just the silhouette of them. It's quite difficult to make out any detail. Do you want to just go straight up to the roof? Do you want to try and bash something in here? Do you want to look closer?
I'm not bashing anything. If the window is within reach and I don't have to compromise my position that would then get me to the roof, I'll give the window just like a little, just see if it's open.
Okay. You head up towards
if there's
the edge.
no lights on in here and this is like as far as possible from the lights, then yeah.
Yeah, all right. You creep along and you're now pressed just up against it. You can see there's like a nest where some bird is has abandoned some period ago, and you can crouch beside it and look inside. First of all, can you give me a spot hidden roll?
Yeah.
Okay, nice. Just a success. Looking down on the interior, you can see no signs of moving figures. Nothing is like patrolling on the inside. You can see just on the far back, what you think you can make out through everything is the wall, and then the other side of that, there should be the offices where the light is on. Unfortunately, this window is unable to open and close, but if broken, would be large enough for you to shimmy through and drop to the inside.
I'm not going to break any windows. That's a clatter. I'm going to keep going to the roof.
All right.
Just give it I'm aware that it's an avenue now, and I'm going to kind of point at it and just like, maybe. Roof.
Okay. You back up a little bit, and you can now see Lancet just on the roof looking down at you. You shake him away a bit, and then a short jump gets you onto the edge, and then you can pull yourself onto the roof. You're high up enough now that you're effectively 2 stories up, and walking along it, the roofing material is quite loud. It'd be like tin or something over other insulation, so you have to walk very carefully. And even then, every now and then, you can hear like a creak, and you sort of freeze and cringe as the sound seems far too loud for the quiet night air. Carter is backed up at this point and is trying to keep tabs on you, but you can make out Sam. Along here, there is a skylight on one of these sections, quite a large one. And upon approach, you see that it has been refitted with like a fairly serious looking lock. This does not look standard make to the rest of the building. Okay. It's not super new. It's clearly been there for a while, and it's probably a bit like salt crusted given the closeness to the water and just its exposure to air. It looks as though it probably hasn't been opened or closed in quite some time, but it is fairly serious looking.
I mean, they put a lock on. Did they lock the lock?
They did lock the lock.
Because that would be very funny.
It's worth checking, isn't it? Sometimes,
it's
just the illusion of security.
It's always worth checking. Like those fake security cameras that are just never on. They just
bubbles.
sit there. Yeah, it's worth checking. But that's fine. I will creep back to the edge of the roof. It looks like an office window might be the way to go, or the window. Oh,
I just as an out of character reminder, we have had some luck with locks. And mechanical repair before. We don't necessarily have a locksmith, but if I remember, Chaz was quite good at taking boxes apart when necessary. And
it is not the
of
quietest approach.
No.
But it is more subtle than just straight strength rolling to bust it. It's the sort of the in between.
And first, you'll have to get me up there.
Yeah.
Which.
I feel like locksmith lets you open it without noticing that it's been opened.
Locksmith is fully picking it, opening and closing it. Locksmith would also be large enough to like juggle the tumblers so that their keys won't work, stuff like that. It's fully into it. Mechanical repair would be like just kind of forcing it, getting it open, or completely going around it, finding the hinges and taking those off and going in from the other side. Strength would just be get a bar in and pop the fucker open.
That was pretty much what Chaz did.
The other thing you'll notice, Minnie, because you're right up next to it, is these windows have also been reinforced. There's like chicken mesh on the inside of them, so that they can't. Yeah, all of them. The other one would have had it as well. Actually, it looks like once you get through, you can like pull at it and so or maybe cut it. But yeah, it looks like they've gone to reasonably serious steps to reinforce entry points.
Okay. What am I? I'm going to climb most of the way back down. I'm not going to drop down and so I have to do the climb roll again. But I'm going to get within whisper shot of Lieutenant
from the roof.
Carter.
It's going to be tough. Actually, if you get right to the edge of it, you are now you're not by the cranes. You're along the side, kind of where the others were looking down. You can sort of crawl over, and it's a loud whisper.
Yeah. I'm just very quietly. Check the office windows. This is.
Let us just assume we're whispering so that our wonderful friends in chat can actually hear us.
Yeah.
But yes,
basically,
windows.
Yeah. Can you check the office windows? This is This is a backup at best.
Right. Give me a moment. I'll be back.
Tell me if they're better.
I am stealthy enough. I'm not the greatest of stealthers.
Okay.
But I will see. I'll go towards the one that is currently not got a light on. Obviously, I assume they're close to each other, but I won't actually go and inspect the one with light.
Yeah, they're adjacent. They're like a room away from one another. It's basically 2 rooms.
All right. I'll get as close as I can, and then I will just observe and see what I've got.
Can you give me a stealth roll, please?
Certainly.
And
Whether
take
I
a
can
bonus
succeed at
dice.
it
Take a bonus
is-
dice.
Well, okay.
Oh, Art.
Well, that'd be an extreme.
Fuck yeah. Okay.
Well, all right then.
You creep along,
I'm not
sort of
that
sticking
stealthy.
right alongside it, staying low, and then getting just towards the edge of it. You push yourself up to your height, standing along, and then just crane your head around so that just on the edge of your peripheral, you can get a look inside, revealing as little of yourself as possible. At first, the interior looks completely empty. This one does not have the curtains drawn across it. You will note the same thing as Mini. The windows have been reinforced, and the lock on the inside looks to have been upgraded.
Okay,
This is also
lock on the
definitely
inside.
locked. As you're doing this, though, you're sort of reaching across and you push like a hand on the lowest point of the glass, get it flat, and then push it up just on the off chance that it might be open, when suddenly you freeze as you realize standing in the room, completely still, is a figure, and they are looking straight out the windows and do not appear to have noticed you. They are dressed in Cataseus guards uniforms, and they are looking unblinking. You would take this for a mannequin, and because they are so still, it is almost impossible to notice them.
Oh, thank fuck, you got an extreme.
And they're looking straight past you.
Thank God you got an extreme.
The luck coming in
Jesus.
handy. God damn.
Good.
Good,
At
great,
this point,
wonderful,
we might
awesome.
actually park the 3 of you there and touch base with old Bert on the outside. So you
from the
hoisted
pub.
Dr. Sam over the side, and you were told, don't go anywhere, we're coming to interrogate you. You splash yourself with liquor, and where are you heading now? The guard you were talking to has headed towards the station, where people come and go from, and we're definitely going like, hey, come with me. What do you do?
I wander off, but not far enough that I'm properly away. Enough that they'll get there and be like, oh, he must have gone somewhere. It's probably over there. And then I'm immediately where they will find me. And I would like to, I'd go sort of towards the edge of the docks. Maybe I'd like lean against a dumpster. And I would just kind of hover there looking drunk. And when they inevitably arrive to find me, I'm going to go, and kind of just half-heartedly hide behind the dumpster in full view of them, like let them watch me try to hide.
Okay, yeah. So you kind of
very
want to be
badly.
spotty. I love it.
Yeah.
This is dialing it up from how you were presenting yourself to the first guard. You were reasonably sober enough to be. You're a belligerent. This is moving into like shit-faced on the scale of things. But you know,
I'm
people get
hoping
drunker
that
over.
I can, I'm hoping that I can just sort of put forward the. He got me at a good moment, and maybe I'll bloviate again and make it look like whatever my bloviation faculties are, they haven't been affected by the liquor.
Okay. So you hoist Sam over and then actually head along towards the front gate a little bit so that you can spot them. You will see the other guard head towards the station, rap on it. The person in there who is, 40% paying attention, wakes up and heads to the door. There is a short conversation. They scan for you, don't immediately spot you. And then just as the first one's going back inside and heading towards a telephone, the one that spoke with you previously sees you behind the dumpster and knocks again, points you out, and they both head towards you. You will see that they are lightly armed. They do carry pistols and like a whack-and baton. And they both head out, and the gate tender does not come far from the entranceway. It will be sort of opened, closed, secured, and he's on the outside, but he is standing near it. The other one sort of comes the midway through, and they are not approaching. They are not coming into melee range. They're going to come and yell at you. So the one you've spoken with previously at the gate calls out to you and says, come on, come closer.
I would like to kind of shrink back into the dumpster a little bit behind it. And if they keep talking to me, pull up my coat a bit as if it's hiding me and start kind of going, I'm trying to act drunk.
Yeah, I can say it. He calls out, "Sir, we don't have time for this. Understands that there's been, activity here recently and you're under suspicion. You have a moment to come forward or we are calling the police."
I'm not doing anything. I'll lower my jacket and stagger forward a bit. I'm fine. I'm fine. It's only illegal to sell alcohol, not to consume it.
Go ahead. So this really feels like acting. The skill.
I would like to try a fast talk if possible, but I understand if that's not possible.
Fast talk is totally fine. Go ahead and give me a fast talk roll.
As I approach, can I have a bonus dice for the smell of liquor that I have on me? Or is that just making it
You're probably
possible?
not getting close enough just yet. That'll help to sell it to like someone who actually comes up and investigates you. I think for the time being, you're just trying to, Also, what are you aiming to get out of this? Are you keeping attention from them? Are you looking to befuddle them? Are you hoping that they come closer so you can clobber them? What's the actual aim?
My ideal scenario would be for them to waste their time here for long enough that my friends can do what they need to do, and then they will go, he's just drunk, and they will leave and go back to their posts feeling all happy, and I will scamper away into the night to rejoin my friends.
Okay, all right. Go ahead and give me a fast talk roll.
All right. Ho-ho, that is a fumble.
Okay. You immediately realize you might have overplayed your hand a little bit. These two men are jumpy. There has been a recent break-in and possibly arson. They might have heard the rumors that there are mob affiliations. They might have heard the rumors that there's some sort of organization up above it all. They don't know. They also know that recently they let in a host of heavily armed guards who are now sifting through the rubble for who knows what. As soon as you come forward close enough, the other one steps up, lays a hand on you, just as the other one says, "Call the police, we'll hold them in the watch station until they arrive." And he says, "Come with me, sir."
Okay.
He's right up next to you. The other one turns to open the gates.
Yeah, I will let them take me.
Okay, all right. He pushes you forward, and at this point, he will hit the stench of alcohol. He recoils from it and then pushes you forward again, and you begin to head forward. Now, you are a big person, and you are relatively known within the city. I'm going to ask you to make a credit rating test, and you might want to fail this one, because this is going to be if you are recognized.
Ooh.
Let's see just how we go. That is a success.
I tell you what,
I'm very happy to be recognized because I can transfer it into something else.
I genuinely do think, well, if you want to take this, I was going to say let's do it with a penalty dice, because I think you are outside your element and you are feigning to be someone else.
Sure.
It sounds a little retconny after you've rolled it, but that was it.
No, I'm very well. I'll fire off a penalty die. That's still a success.
Okay. You are going to be recognized, at least in passing. It might be like, hey, we might have seen that man in the newspaper before. Enough for them to follow up on.
Right, perfect. If I see one of them sort of frowning,
they've opened the gate and you're now going through that. You maybe the one who's opened the gate, who was reading the newspaper, might look at you a little bit closely.
Yeah, if he in front of him, then if you'll let me push the fast talk check, I'll say something like, "Call the police. Sergeant Paul's gave me this." Call the police.
All right. Sorry, I think I might have lost you, Jim, if you're muted.
Yeah.
Jim, you're muted. You're muted.
Oh, no.
Uh-oh. We had you right up for the first wave. No, sorry.
Good. Okay,
so you get taken through. So I understand you're probably pushing the roll with the intent of saying I have contacts in the police force. Let's park you there for a second then, as you are brought on the inside, and then we'll come back to you. Do you want to do a quick test? Okay, all right, all good. And then we'll come back to you in a moment. So on the other side, Carter, you have seen the figure standing frozen in the room, looking down towards you. Sam is on the other side in the alleyway, and Minnie is still crouched along the roof. What would the three of you like to do?
We hate it. Oh, we hate that.
I mean, my first question is it a mannequin? Do they actually have something in here to like? I mean, it seems odd that they would put it in a dark room, which is hard to notice. But like, is there a possibility that this is in fact a mannequin and they're using it as a way of like stopping people from?
It's like a scarecrow.
It's very
Jenny.
Home Alone. It's a LeBron poster or whatever it was in that movie.
Yeah, like I'm going to work on the basis that it is in fact a real person, but like just in case. My question is, are they real?
You freeze and look at it. It takes a beat for you to study them, but
They
see
eventually
like
blink.
Well, yes. There'd be like a fly or something on the interior and lands on the face and then just crawls up it a little bit. They make no reaction to that, but then eventually you will see like a slow blink and the eyes open or a slight rise in the chest. They are a person, although very much unmoving and almost completely frozen.
Now I have a question. We knew we were doing some sneaky stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Is it reasonable, given who I am as a person and my job, that I have a silencer?
Ooh.
Oh.
We got you, Jim.
Ooh. Have they been invented yet?
Yeah, that's a good
I
question.
think that's pretty cutting edge tech, and we haven't established that you've got one previously. I'm going to say no.
That's
you don't
fine.
have a silencer.
That will just on record.
But we should get you a silencer.
I will have a silencer before we go to Iceland. Thank you. That is a thing I
But you
will
got
acquire
to
if it
date it. You
exists
got
in the world.
to all of a data source it, so you could.
I mean,
certainly
come on, just
try to.
fine. Bring a cushion everywhere with you.
I have a relatively decent credit rating, and I have contacts in the military.
You know what? Maybe it'd be fair to have Art roll a luck check to see if they have a silencer.
Yeah.
Not now. For Iceland, maybe.
Oh, not now?
Nice
Not
try.
now. Nice try.
Well, that just means that I can't spend more than like 10 points of luck for the rest of the session, and then I will still have ridiculous amounts. Or 6 points of luck, I think, is the minimum that I will get back from a roll. Anyway. All right, no silences this time. That's fine.
I will have probably spotted Lieutenant Carter was just frozen.
Yeah. Well, I have frozen. I'm gonna move away from the window. I'm assuming that I have the ability to do that with that extreme without being spotted.
That's fine.
I don't have to make another one. I am going to move back towards the back corner away from that, assuming that no alert was sounded when we did our whispering at the back corner, so it's
Nothing
likely that we
visible.
were potentially out of earshot, at least of the people in there. Yeah, I'm going to just whisper up to Minnie and say, Miss Sinclair,
Yeah.
this might be incredibly ill-advised. There is, in fact, people inside the warehouse, incredibly well-trained, well-armored Caduceus mercenaries. I'm not entirely sure if this is within our capabilities this evening. We may...
Oh, have a little faith. So not the office window.
I'll say
Not
they're not the
unless-
super guards, like the SWAT decked people from lower.
Yeah.
They look like they are the regular guards, just very much not.
Regular guards.
Regular guards. Yeah, that's still, relatively well kitted out.
Yeah, they've got a gun.
They're not... I
That's
would have
cool.
said riot police if I was talking about those ones, the ones in the SWAT gear. No, just Caduceus guards with weaponry. There is another avenue we could take. It's difficult, and it will it'll reveal our hand quite a bit, but we could straight up knock on the door and say that we're here and we work for Caduceus and we would like to know what's inside the warehouse.
Yeah.
Can you have this conversation back at the edge of the building?
Yeah,
I think-
we're
I think-
having it at the...
Sam,
Oh, very
you could have
good.
closed the distance to join as well. That's totally fine.
Oh, you don't gonna make me climb roll?
No, you're
No,
at the
you're not
edge.
climbing
You're
up.
at
I'm on
the,
the
you're at
roof
the edge.
anyway.
Oh, okay.
Minnie's leaning
Very good.
over.
He's popped.
All right.
And I'm...
Uh,
excuse me.
I thought
yeah.
we said that wasn't a good idea. I thought we
I
wanted to
don't
make
think
him
that's a
think
good
it was the mob, it was the mafia. If things get hairy.
I'm fully aware of what we suggested.
Okay,
I'm suggesting
but-
that might that our easiest way in might just be to say we're part of Caduceus.
I don't think that's going to get us anywhere. However, you can try that, and that'll at least draw attention while I window. Because I can absolutely get in that window, but it's going to be a little bit of noise, so I do need a little bit of a distraction. I'm confident I can get in.
Again, if I go to if we make ourselves known, that is going to be it. We are then known to have been here, and we do tend to travel around as a group.
Sometimes. I can get in. I think it might make a little bit of noise, so a distraction would absolutely be welcome. And if I can get in and not be seen, I can unlock the door for you.
Assuming there aren't any more mannequin-esque guards in the actual warehouse itself, we don't know that they don't have people standing, rigid attention, unblinking, staring from directions.
Because my cover is basically, if I get found, I'm just going to say I thought this was a mob warehouse. I didn't realize it was Caduceus. I'm just going to play extremely dumb, so...
It is risky, but...
Well...
We are from Caduceus. But, I agree, that is a decent lie. Sam, do you have any ideas for a distraction that doesn't give away who we are or what we're doing?
I mean, I guess Lancet could do something. We might lose him for the rest of the expedition, but he could bother some folks, make some noise.
Is there any cargo that can be released and dropped from somewhere to make a noise, or?
That's a good question.
Yeah, if you go to one of like an adjacent warehouse and just start trashing shit, that'll probably.
Can you say something about a crane?
A crane? If there's any.
There's a crane for each
staff.
one. They probably wouldn't leave stuff mid-raised. But you can just go to one and just find shit, start chucking it in the water or whatever.
What if we're lucky?
What if we're really lucky, Dave?
What if you're really lucky? Okay, sure. Make a group luck roll. Who's got the lowest luck?
Fuck. 47.
It's your what? How? It's pulp.
I spent quite a bit last time.
You burned it.
Not killing.
Oh yeah,
I think he was on the defense. Yeah.
All right, let's do it.
Yeah, you're right. It's pulp. There for sure be something half raised up.
No,
maybe not.
Buddy.
There are is though. It's a bunch of adjacent warehouses. You can just go and start knocking stuff. Note that there were guards on the perimeter. There are presumably guards in the area too. You may draw more attention than just the warehouse you are currently canvassing.
I'm hoping Hubert comes in with a well-timed distraction in about 45 seconds.
In about
That's a
now.
good point.
Well, maybe we do check in on Hubert
not.
then, because that might shift the state of
We're
play.
just like, bah.
Jim, do you want to restate? So you have been recognized.
Yes.
You've been hoisted towards the station, and one of them is moving to go and phone the police. The other one is keeping a watch on you. You haven't been handcuffed or anything, but you are being fairly closely monitored.
So as we were walking up to the station, if I noticed that one of them was noticing me, if I realized that one of them recognized me, I was hoping to start muttering something about how I call the police. Sergeant whatever gave me this liquor, mutter and start to big myself up. Basically, if they think that they've caught somebody, they might get in trouble for picking up.
Yeah.
That was my idea.
So, I think give me an intimidation roll. This isn't necessarily, you've already fumbled the first one. So this is escalating things sort of further beyond. It could certainly be said, so it's still a good call. But this is not going to fix the problem. This is just going to possibly make new ones or new avenues for success.
Understood. Okay. Well, in which case, let me dive away then, because my intimidated, I don't think is probably high enough for me to risk a push roll on it. If I'm it's not a push roll.
This is basically a new. The stakes have been upped. Sure. You are being hauled towards the office. This is changing.
Well, then there's always a chance. Here we go. That is not a fumble.
Okay.
I think it's a 95. Yeah.
All right. You are hauled into the office, and as you say that, one of them says, he says, I thought I recognized you. You're Smith, aren't you? A dilettante. Don't you host a bunch of events with that? What's the organization? And the other one clicks their fingers for a couple times. And as he goes, as the, the entrance watcher snaps his fingers, he goes, Caduceus. They're the ones that are, and then the other one nods and goes, yeah, call them now. He heads over to the phone. You are dropped into a chair. A hand is slapped down, and the other person begins dialing. You will notice they are not calling the police.
Sure. So, at which point, while I'm being led into the gatehouse, I did realize that while they were staying out lovely and out of range and everything like that when we were over by the bins, now that we're all trapped in a very, very small gatehouse. And my hope was to, when we come in, I say this before I'm plonked in a chair, could I reach over and just break the phone? Just yank the cable out. Snap it. Yes.
Give me a fighting brawl roll, and I'm going to oppose it. I'm going to give you a penalty dice. Actually, you're so big they can't really get in your way. Go ahead and make a fighting brawl roll, and they are going to oppose it with their own.
Okay, here we go.
Far out.
Oh, come on, I'm going to lock that down.
Okay.
Yep, so I will lock that 14 points of luck to a regular success.
All right, let's go.
Had some bad rolls today. Ooh-wee.
Does your build count in this respect or no?
No, not for this one.
Not for this one.
Okay, they're not super.
Although if it, yeah, never mind.
You go for the phone, and the one that's watching you grabs your arm, twists it, and suddenly you slam down onto the ground. You kind of displayed your, you moved quickly then. You went for it, you lunged. He slams you down onto the ground, and you can hear something ratcheting around one of your wrists as he yells to the other one, call them now, something's happening. And he goes for the phone, and then as he lifts it up, another hand goes under the desk, hits a switch, and suddenly there's a whoop of an alarm going off just above, and lights begin to turn on in the area. A manacle is thrown around one of your hands, and the other one clicks around the chair towards the back. You are out of reach of the thing, but you are a big guy. There is always just a brute force option. What are you doing immediately? You can hear him calling, and he's very quickly beginning to start to talk, and the alarm is beginning to whoop. Elsewhere,
this man has tied me to a chair. I will hit him with said chair.
Okay, give me a fighting brawl roll.
You just lift the chair up and slide
It's a larger one. This is somewhere for holding someone indefinitely. It's made to have someone grab.
So it's like a metal bench. Are you saying that you're giving Jim the ability to hit someone with a metal bench?
If he can hoist it. You are going to have a penalty. You are going to have a penalty dice because you've effectively been sort of restrained, and we're going to be running this as combat, so he's going to riposte you.
Sure. Oh my god!
Far out.
Such bad luck.
Mate.
Wow.
No point throwing a penalty because it can't get worse.
So I'll lock it down. 27 points for a success.
Holy shit! Okay, all right, burn it. He is going to.
Burning.
This time he's just going to smack you with it. He's got a cudgel, so it's going to be a D6. I'll just roll the same brawl one though.
Here we go.
Okay, that's about. So,
bench.
The other one calls the phone. You hear him say, "Hello, sir. There's someone here. We think we're under." And then there is the sound of shrieking metal as you wrench the bench off the wall and slam it into his friend. Go ahead and deal a D8 of damage.
Okay. This is possibly really going to hurt this guy. That's 9 points of damage.
Fuck. You slam it into him. He gets bodied into the glass. It crashes. He stumbles on the other side, and he is out of the fight. The other one finishes trying to call. He says, "Hello, sir. I think we're under." And then by that point, you have a chance to act once more. You can close the distance, and you now standing tall. You've busted open the seams of your coat or whatever, and you're holding this thing aloft. What would you like to do?
Could I please make a fighting maneuver against him? And I would like to handcuff him to the bench.
So you are handcuffed.
Not to the same one as me. I handcuff him to something.
He will have his own handcuffs. So 100%. be a fighting brawl roll.
Here we go. Let's see if I can
Wait, are you
maintain
still-
the
are you
streak.
still knocking him out
you
first?
do still have a penalty dice, Jim, as long as you're tethered to basically a, shitload of metal.
Oh, in which case could I use my turn to just unlock myself, reach into the?
You can make a strength roll to try and bust it apart.
I just knocked down the guy who handcuffed me, right? Can I just reach into his pocket and take his
You
keys?
chucked him through the window, man. He's
Oh,
fucking
sure,
out
no
here.
worries. All right, in which case,
You're huge, dude. You can just go to
yeah.
the strength roll and just rip them apart. You're a big boy.
No, let me just. Is it just regular success?
You can
to
probably
break it?
go out. It'd be hard. You probably can go out after him, but you're clambering through, hauling a bench behind you.
Let me just wallop this guy.
Yeah, nice. Give him a whack.
All right.
You do still have a penalty
Nice
dice.
wallop.
I'll give you the
Yep.
penalty dice is gonna be pretty static.
Understood.
Holy shit! Please confirm it.
Crit and
11.
confirmed.
It's not a
No,
crit, but it's an
still.
extreme.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, you close the distance. So
Is that just max? Is that just max damage?
yeah, so that's gonna be
So-
8 plus.
8 plus.
6.
I still roll a d6. You still roll damage dice.
I think so. The damage bonus is still rolled.
He's
and it's
already
not a melee
dead.
weapon. Well,
Oh,
It's
Nine.
exactly
No,
which is
it's
the
9
same as the
again.
last one.
Yeah.
So he calls. I will say, with that high, you're able to hear him. He says, "Mr. Rapper." First, so you get a name, and then you slam it down onto his back, and he collapses down on the ground. Alarms are still going, and from somewhere underneath all of it, you can hear the row, 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 row of dogs elsewhere in the docks. Now, the phone, you can just hear a. What do you do?
Oh my god. I have to pick it up. I have to pick it up and hold it to my head. And
Okay.
what do I hear on the other end?
You hear, "What is it? Are you there?"
Can I please respond in Narcal?
Yes.
Yeah.
You only know like
doesn't
a
have
few
to be
phrases.
good.
You know, like
Just has to sound like Narcal.
Well, I think that the one thing that I would have picked up is the sermon that was given by the preacher that we were showed again and again. It's explicit
super
words.
biblical.
Yeah. So I will say.
Hang on one sec. Let me see if I can get Let me get my notes for it. I think I could
Yeah.
give you the exact. Here, Jim. I'm dropping it. I'm dropping it in the Discord chat.
Oh, fantastic.
Oh, never mind. That's not it.
I think I just say if you just let me pick something
Yeah, of course, of
biblical,
course. You can do something.
I will just say there are serpents in the garden, for example,
Sick.
and I'll say that in Narcal and then hang up.
Okay. So you don't wait for a response.
Oh yeah, sorry, you got to get the response.
Okay.
I hold long enough to get a
Can you
voice
give
back.
me a Narcal roll?
Oh my god!
Take a
probably
bonus
not.
dice because you are right. You did hear these sort of phrases a few times, and you'll get something out regardless. There's just possibly a chance to tick it.
No chance to tick it.
Okay, you say it is in Narcal, and it's you'd be mistaken for it. It's clear you're a tourist, and it's not your first language. You stutter a little bit over it, but you say it. There is a pause, and then you hear, "Excuse me." Did you say there's people there? Look, we're getting people there on the way. Hold tight, and we'll be there shortly. And then the phone clicks up.
Excellent. I'm gonna hope that the handcuffs are standard issue, and I'll grab the second dude's handcuffs. I'll try to free myself,
Yep,
and
done.
we'll go from there.
Okay, all right.
Cool.
Where are you heading?
I will take this man's pistol, and I would like to then run away from the warehouse as quickly as possible in a away direction, occasionally stopping to fire into the air to lead people.
So
with
you
me.
are heading back. You're opening the main gates again. Do you want to just leave them open? And you're heading
Yep.
out into the street? Okay.
Yep.
So you find the button to open the gate. You'll probably find like a rack of keys on one of them as well. You can grab those. You open the main gate and then leave it ajar, and then heading out into the road. Looking back, you can see lights have clicked on all along the perimeter, and there is clearly two figures with a dog on a leash heading in one direction. You also see coming from the burnt husk of a warehouse a pair of figures. You take a moment to look, raise the gun, fire twice, and take off into the alleyway,
Excellent.
leading them afar. Fantastic. Okay, well, we wondered if there might be a distraction of some sort, and
That was a disaster.
just as
Perfect.
Just what we wanted.
No notes.
Just as the other three of you are gathering up, Minnie can't get the full sentence. I wonder where Hubert is out before alarms start going off elsewhere, and you hear a dog begin to bark.
Okay, friends, it's up or out now. You're either coming up here with me or you're going to have to run. I think I distraction.
Up. I'm gonna.
Up.
Yeah, I'll join Miss
Up.
Sinclair. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Someone's gonna have to haul me
Oh
bodily.
yeah. Well, if I can help Carter, and then Carter can help.
Okay.
Can I get 2 bonus dice from 2 pairs?
two
of
We're gonna
hands?
wait. So first, Carter, can you please make a climb roll with a bonus dice?
Oh, as if they need it.
I mean, my climb is not amazing.
No, but you're rotten. Never mind.
yeah.
Extreme.
Extreme.
It's pretty cool. You like
Your climb
leap,
isn't amazing, but you're you.
you like leap up, and Minnie claps the hand and just pulls you up onto it. It's pretty friggin' sweet. You're both on the thing, and then leaning down, you both reach across to Dr. Sam. Go ahead and make a climb roll. It is still going to be a single bonus dice.
Oh, that's luckable.
30,
Huh?
18 points.
You're getting up there
I mean,
either way, but
That's
just
half of what I have.
as you leap up,
We really
both
don't want people to
Carter
see
and
us.
Minnie clap hands onto you and begin to haul as the main entrance. As the entrance, not the bay doors, opens, and you see that the and the light is on as someone is coming out.
All right, never mind. I'm up.
Okay, all right, the
Anyone
luck is
select.
spent. You're both hauled up, and all three of you, like, commando roll away from it and onto the roof. You're the last one up, Sam. For the sake of things. As you're hauled up, you all roll away, and just as you're going past, you see that the figure coming out and around and looking in is Dr. Gonsalves, your current contact and head of operations at Cataseus. And he's currently standing outside the front door, not coming very far along, looking out into the area. What do the three of you want to do?
I mean,
Window.
yeah.
I will
Skylight.
follow the competent people.
Okay.
Skylight.
You'll creep up towards the
Skylight or window? The window that I found on that you can drop down into the main area.
Well, the skylight.
The skylight has that serious lock on it.
Yeah, but the window
That
didn't
one
have any way of
doesn't have
opening.
any open. You have to bash it.
Yeah, the window we have to smash. The skylight we can at least like jimmy potentially.
I'll have a go at the
Alright.
skylight.
Also,
Let's
there's
go.
now a lot of noise. Can they?
There is now a lot
Yeah,
of
there really is.
If we
Yeah,
can
yeah.
at least like
There's-
jimmy the hinges without them hearing it over the sounds of blaring alarms, I'll take
Okay.
it.
Yeah.
Yep.
You head across
Skylight it is.
the roof, now less concerned about being heard as the alarms continue to whoop in the air. Arriving, Dr. Sam crouches down and unfurls like a small carry kit. You got one with the cross on it, and
Like a
one with a
spanner.
wrench on it. And you open it and go through your tools. Can you please give me a mechanical repair roll as Carter
And
and
you don't
Minnie
want to
keep an
get
eye out?
mixed up.
Just a quick thing.
Syringe.
I have mechanical repair as well.
No.
I don't have base. I've got
Ooh.
30 in it. Is that enough for me to
Absolutely.
assist?
Absolutely. Go ahead and give
I will assist.
Sam, you can do this with
Excellent.
bonus dice.
All right. I get Carter to hold the torch, but not like that. 46 regular success.
Okay, regular success is beginning to come off. It will just take a little while. So you crouch down and begin to work your way along the hinges. After a little while, you've gotten the first one open. In this amount of time, Gonsalves has gone back inside. It doesn't look as though anyone's leaving, so they are on the interior doing something. You then hear gunshots from somewhere in the facility. And from this high up, Minnie, you're the one keeping an eye out. You can see over on the burnt husk. Actually, it's kind of through things. It's a little bit hard to see, but there is definitely movement as people are heading some towards the entranceway. You can actually probably see the gate from here, and it is currently open. And then suddenly a dog, probably just unclicked from a leash, goes barreling through it and towards the alleyways. Now, this is going to take you all a little beat to get through. So, Hubert, I'm going to ask you to make a Constitution roll.
Oh no! Don't.
Can I
make
see
me
the
run.
huge white figure of Hubert just like
Yeah.
bolts into the like? I'm like,
100%. You see him probably
I'm sure he'll be
stand,
fine.
hoist the
He'll be
gun,
fine.
fire it twice, and take off into the alleyway.
fine.
Well, actually, if I know I'm about to go off in true Hubert fashion, I'll start a pistol.
Oh, you pressure. Hell yes.
All right, brilliant. Constitution. That is a failure.
You don't
Okay,
worry.
so you're going to
You've
reduce.
got bonus on Constitution.
I
Oh,
do.
yeah, you have bonus
I have a
dice,
bonus
good
on
call.
all Constitution
Oh,
rolls.
yeah, you get
Thank
your
you.
bonus.
Another failure. I give you 8 points of luck. This is ludicrous.
What
Yeah.
is your movement rate by base?
Not great. My movement rate is 7 by base, which
Okay.
means that it stays as 7, I guess,
That's right. It will be
with
the
a
same.
success.
So, uno momento.
Not fantastic.
Isn't 7 average?
I think
seven's
7
like
is standard. Maybe 8
yeah.
is
7
average.
is standard if you've got. Yeah.
But for the curious, you calculate your movement rate by comparing your dexterity and your strength to your size.
Okay.
Cubit, his whole deal is that he's massive, so his size is higher than both, which reduces
Yeah.
it to 7. Reduces further
Whereas
if you're
mine's
older.
8.
Yeah,
Small.
and if you have both
Not strong.
higher, you go to 9. Oh, come on, guard. Oh, come on, other guard.
Okay, all right. So
Poor dog, though.
they
Somebody's
move
been
on-
feeding the dog too many treats.
They move on. They both move on 8. The guard that got an extreme moves on 9. The dog moves on 12, reduced to 11. So they are closing the distance, but you do have a head start. Hubert, where and then so from here we'll go from dexterity, but for the sake of ease, where are you heading for? What do you want to try and do?
Okay, these people are not cops. So I want to get to a public space as quickly as possible.
You're
so
kind
I am
of on
heading,
the outskirts. You're in like an industrial area, so this is going to take a while, especially on foot.
Yeah.
It will take you quite some time.
I understand. If I could
catch you,
get to anywhere that has a cab, I'm just going. I think I got to get away.
Okay. Can you give me? So are you just going for a just flat sprint as fast as you can?
I'm just thinking.
You're
for
on
one
eight, right,
second,
Jim?
Gonna
but-
catch
but
you.
You know what? I'm actually going to head to the waterfront.
You're on 8 movement, right? That was where
7.
you're on 7.
I've got a success, so I just maintain, I believe.
Okay, noted. Yep. All right.
Yeah, I'm heading for the water.
Okay. So you head towards the water. You just make it to the edge. Now, the dog full sprint and is able to catch you as you get there. It leaps up and its teeth sink into your jacket and the arm underneath it, and it clenches down and is attempting to hold you in place. Can you give me a fighting brawl roll?
Absolutely. Here we go.
Now, what build are you?
I am build 2.
Oh,
Okay, this dog is physically incapable of stopping you moving, Hubert. This is just if it clamps on. You can just carry the little bastard with you as you go for a swim.
It's good to know.
That's a success as well. All right. We'll
That's
go
a hard success, yeah.
Hell yeah, dude. Okay, that's a hard success with the dog as well. It is attached. It leaps up, jams onto your arm, teeth clench. It's not going to deal damage because it was going for a maneuver, and it's currently
Sure.
latched onto from the side, growling and trying to haul you back. But you're so big, you just carry the thing into the air. The other 2 guards go charging along. They are not going to make it.
Where's
They
Jim?
are on approach. Yep, up.
Just, I know Jim has the counts as build higher when things
when
and stuff. When
doing.
does that apply?
That's
Oh,
when
yeah,
he
actually,
attempts
so
to
that
do
will
maneuvers
apply to-
to people.
Yep.
Right? So that means Hubert is capable. Normally, when stuff is like build 3 or larger, you are physically incapable of doing anything. That's why that dog can't do shit to Hubert. However, Hubert has an ability which boosts his up further. He's able to do things like suplex elephants and stuff because of that, because he can actually contest with these massive things to bring them down. Things like Dark Young, really big stuff. So
Hell
that's the way
yeah.
it plays. Okay. The 2 guards are on approach, Hubert. They will. One of them will arrive next round. The other one the following. What would you like to do?
I'm going into the drink.
Okay.
I'm diving into the water and trying to get out to safety. I'm hoping that they're not going to swim after me.
Okay. You leap into the water. Now you are in the bay, so swimming out would take you, towards boats and things.
I'll go along.
Okay.
along
All
the
right.
coast.
They will probably be able to out. You leap into the water. Can you give me a swim roll to see if you can get ahead of it?
I'm not fantastic. Here we go. That is a failure.
Okay.
Oh, buddy.
You leap into the water, you clear the rocks and splash down. Now, this is like the dredged section, so large ships can pull in. And as soon as you sink down, the dog releases and you just drop like a stone down. And bubbles are floating up. And then when you haul up and break the surface, you are a ways away from the shore. But they're kind of in a position of power here. They are along the shoreline and unable to outswim them, you're sort of treading backwards and keeping distance so they can't approach. One of them raises a gun as the other one reaches the shoreline, but for the moment they just stop. You're effectively away from them, and none of them want to jump into the water after you. However, you do see the dog is continuing to swim towards you. Now, from here, you could try and continue along the shoreline and away. You could also go the other direction and try and get into the docks. The warehouse sections, or you could go out and try and like haul yourself onto a boat or something.
Yeah, I think I just got to get away at this point.
I
will start to survival backstroke away and just try and get as much distance as I can. And hopefully my constitution in terms of I'm going for a long swim. And I'm very naturally buoyant.
The only issue is the dog, which is continuing to go after. And as you survival backstroke, you see this little thing like a furry alligator cruising through the water towards you. As you haul yourself backwards and away, it gets close up, and this time it will bite with the intent to hurt. It closes its jaws down on you. You want to go ahead and give me a fighting brawl or dodge? I'm going to give you a penalty dice here because you're in the water.
God damn it. Okay, yeah, I really see. I don't want to kill the dog is the thing, but all right. Yeah, can I? I will fighting maneuver just to try and keep it away from me. Basically,
try and hold it and just keep it from closing. Sure. Go ahead and give me a brawl roll with a penalty dice.
Extreme success and failure. I can't lock that down. Damn it.
Okay. It's going to attempt to close jaws. It fails as it tries to jam down on you, but it is continuing to keep pace with you. I tell you what, give me let's do the Constitution roll for just going backwards, just seeing for distance, and I might just apply sort of a flat damage for allowing this thing to harry you for a while before it eventually will return or get called back.
That will be, I'll give you 1 point of luck to make that a hard success.
All right, with that, I'm going to do a single D6, Jim, which is the thing's attack. As it lands, the occasional chomp.
Taken.
Take all of 1 damage. As it lands, you just kind of get shoving the little thing away from you, and eventually you'll hear a whistle as the dog is returned. This is also at a similar time as you see cars. You're taking a while to back up. Not too long after, you'll see cars begin to arrive. Now, you head out sort of into the bay, and out here, the water's beginning to get sort of I think it's secluded enough that there wouldn't be massive waves or anything, but it's still a little choppy. And eventually, we'll be able to come to like more. There'd be like, I guess, fishing vessels or like leisure boats and things. What is your intent?
God. I will try and get back to shore as quickly as I can, and I think that this is. I don't think going back in is going to help my companions at this point. If I come in with a boat, I don't think it's a good idea. You know what I will? I want. Sorry to take so long of a scene. Yeah. I get back to shore. I will.
Sorry, that's going to take a while. Getting back to shore is especially, and there's people watching you. They can see where you're going, and once you get on a boat or something, they're going to go, all right, well, you got on that boat. Let's get someone out there on the water.
Sure, makes sense.
Or if you try and head to shore, they will flank around and get you. Currently, you are just in the water, and no one wants to go for a swim. But you have very much been spotted and are being tracked.
Can I point? So all the boats that I would be jumping onto are occupied, I presume.
No, not this late night. No, almost none of them would be.
Fantastic. In which case, I'll get one of those boats and I'll just start going. I'm going to just head away. I'm trying to make a break at this point.
Okay, so you're just trying to escape. Mm-hmm. Okay, all right. After some time, you get towards one of the boats and haul yourself sopping wet out onto the side. You make your way into the cabin and begin to assess the controls. How's Hubert on the on a yacht? What's your? Do you have any piloting skills?
No, I don't. I wish I had. It feels like something I could have. I have a great ride if I can find a jet ski if they're going to be invented, 30 years early. But no.
Do you have any electrical repair or any sort of knowledge ones that might help you out here?
Can I make a gag electrical repair here to see if I can just get it started?
You'll probably be able to get it going. Yeah, go ahead and give me an extra. What are you trying to do? I mean, I'm just sort of sick. Has Hubert the skill to function this? Because this is under pressure a little bit. This is.
I don't think he's got any kind of cleverness. I think my plan is to get the boat and to fire it forward at max speed and to point it in a direction, and then to, once I'm at a distance that it's easy enough to, slip off the side and try and swim away and leave the boat to point out going into a single direction.
Okay. leaping off boats in the middle of bays in the night is a really good way to probably die. Just a heads up, like you could take that would be a swim roll there as well for like quite serious damage because you are a ways out from shore.
I don't see a better option. I think that given everything, that is going to be the best odds I have rather than going back to shore to face a bunch of guns and dogs.
Yeah, that's right. You are right. When you compare these things, okay. So you get to the front,
like that.
and you can see a rope, and that's tied to that pillar. So that's probably not going to want to be on when you take the boat out. So you just untie it from this side, and you don't see how the loop gets off that pillar because it's all the way over there. So you just drop the rope in the water. That's fine. That'll deal with it. Now the boat is slowly listing out and away. Okay. Progress. You go back. That's a steering wheel, like your automobile. Okay. Engine. There doesn't appear to be a pedal. That's weird. Maybe this sticky thing. Maybe this is the engine. After a bit of fucking around, suddenly there is a clatter and boom as the engine comes to life.
Hell yeah.
And then unable to really eyeball the throttle, you just go like, well, I want to get away. So forward is probably the best. You jam it forward and suddenly the boat roars to life and begins to just take off in the direction. I am going to get you to make a pilot boat roll. Do you have any pilot skill? Otherwise, I think the base is 1 or 5 or something.
I believe the base is indeed 1. I do. It's 0-1. I don't. I'm just looking to make sure, but I do not believe I have any. No.
No. All right. Well, just go ahead and make the roll anyway. Always a chance for crit.
Sure.
Or a fumble, which could be really
I do not believe that it's actually a standard on the.
No,
roll
I think
sheet, so
it
I'm
gets
just
put
going
in the optionals.
Yep. So I'm just going to roll 1d100. 68.
Okay.
No dice.
You slam into another boat on the exit, scraping paint and chipping it, throwing yourself to the side before you can ride it, and eventually just figuring pointing yourself out is going to be the safest. You begin to take off, skipping along waves and heading into the night. Where Hubert goes from here, I suppose will remain to be seen, but for the time being, you have exited stage Waterwood.
Exit pursued by a dog and several folks on a boat.
Exit pursued by dog.
I'd rather fight a bear.
Another flawless infiltration mission. Okay.
Oh my God.
So, back on the roof,
It was
Minnie,
just the distraction we needed.
you're pretty sure you see Hubert going for, he's in the water. Okay, and
yeah.
he appears to be swimming.
now he's in the water. Okay.
All right.
Well, Hubert is not going to be able to help us, and I don't think a rescue boat is coming because Hubert is in the water.
All right.
With that,
How's that
though,
lock coming, Sam?
Sam, you have gotten the lock undone. You've taken off the hinges so the lock is still attached and you're able to hold the whole thing and move to the side. And that is enough to give a vacuum going straight down into the warehouse.
All right. The question is, do we all go in, or Minnie, are we sending Sinclair? Are you feeling confident in your abilities?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yes, quite.
In that case, do you wish? Are you good to go alone, or do you want us there?
Oh, I'm good. I'm
Very
good.
good.
So the
Far
immediate,
away.
Obviously, if I scream, just come in behind me.
If you scream, Miss Sinclair, everybody dies. Off you go.
So the immediate thing on the lower level is there are
good.
rafter beams that both support the roof and are also large enough to have cranes on them so that the storage containers inside can be hoisted along. There is no ladder straight from here. There'll be one that you'd like installed. There might be hooks where one could be put in, but none's in place. So I mean, you sort of lower yourself down and then swinging back a little bit forward, so you drop and land on one of the beams. Can you please give me a dexterity roll?
Oh, not great. Oh dear. Okay. Pray for Minnie. Hey!
Okay. Cat-like grace, you land on the both, and they are wide enough that you could stand 2 foot apart, but the whole thing is, once you're up in the air and, you know, it feels like it's swaying. Surely it isn't, but the whole thing's a little cautious. One of the chains underneath swings a little bit, but very minor, and then you're allowed to creep along. From here, you can get away towards, there is a single, like, service, what's the word? I said it a second ago. Ladder along the side, which would allow people to get up here in the event of like repairing cranes and things, but it's not used frequently. From here, you can now see that you are in a large room. It is dark on the interior, and you can only just make out your feet in front of one another. The shadows of your friends fall just a little bit across the floor. Down below you, quite a drop. There are a number of storage containers, but some are stacked up high enough that you could leap onto one of those and begin to make your way down. You can see the large bay doors, and you can see a smaller door on the other side that would presumably lead towards the offices. Near the bay doors, you can see there is a large panel that contains a number of switches, levers, things that go click and clack. Probably runs a number of the things inside here, maybe lights as well as working these winches. You also see standing around a clear hatch in the floor where you can see like stone has been chipped away. It's not a flawless thing, and fresh concrete has been poured around it. Sorry, fresher concrete. It still hasn't been recently done. There are 4 more of those completely stationary guards just standing, each one looking in a cardinal direction away from that hatch. And you also see that they're still in like standard uniforms, so not heavily armored, but they all have shotguns just held perfectly in front of them and are looking into the distance completely unmoving as wow, 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 the sirens go off elsewhere. You can just make out light filtering in underneath the door that heads towards the offices. It is very dark, though, beyond that.
And we saw our handler, the doctor, the good Dr. Gonzalez, you went outside and came back in.
Yes, so he's presumably in that section.
So it would be safe to assume he's in the office.
That's right.
Oh, hatch on the floor. Is there anything else here that looks like it is under heavy guard, like under really heavy guard, or the containers, are they all like the metal containers, or are they like the pallet boxes, or? Yeah,
large pallet boxes. Each of them do have locks on them. They are not. It seems the hatch is the subject of guarding. That said, these 4 people have a pretty good. One is looking through the through between containers straight at the door that leads to the offices. The other one's looking right behind them at the bays, and the other 2 are just focused in the opposite, basically looking at walls, but they are kind of surveying. The only way they are, and the hatch is about, it's quite large, so to be about 10 feet, they're all saying 10 feet apart. The only way to get to that hatch without being seen would be to drop right down in the middle of it, which you could maybe do because you are above them. You could try and rappel down or something, but that would be very risky.
I would have no way of getting back up. I'd just be in the hole, which not really where I want to be the day before we go to Iceland. I might, one of the pallet containers that's stacked up quite high, I wouldn't mind getting a gander of what sort of stuff is in there. If there's anything
they're like solid shipping containers.
Okay,
what you will notice is that they are from something called AEST Corporation. They are not listed as Chaosium. They are something called AEST.
AEST.
AMES. Seems to be what they're listed
so I guess
as.
At this point, that's what I'm looking for is anything, just names of things. I'll do a rough count of how much is in here. I know the guard positions now. If I can get closer to the office, and if there's a window on the inside that I can peek through.
No windows.
Without being
and that
along
one,
the beams, if I can get.
No windows on this side leading into the offices. There's just the one door, and one of the guards is looking fairly focusedly at it. You could try and distract them and quickly slip through, but it'd be fairly difficult.
Yeah.
As far as each of the storage containers, they are opaque. They'd be like steel. You see a AEST Corporation on the inside, and they once again have reasonably serious looking locks on the outside. You could try and drop down on one and you could try and pick it or force one open, but you are in a fairly precarious situation at the moment. Those 4 people look like, well, they look completely frozen. You have no idea how they'll react. Actually, can you give me an intelligence roll?
Yes, it's just adding a maze to my sheet. This is where where I once again remind people that Minnie is educated, not necessarily smart. But there we go. That's good.
This reminds you a little bit of the state of the soldiers in North Borneo, who were almost incapable of taking action. Oh, sorry, Bolivia, not North Borneo. Incapable of taking actions without direction and basically being mind controlled. Kind of running on programming more than anything else.
Oh, I don't like this. At all. But I want in that office, and I want in that office. I want to know what they got.
It is dark, and if they're human, they are human. You could try and just slip forward moving quietly, but the problem is the light on the other side of the office is on, actually. So as soon as that opens, they would be able to spot it.
And if Dr. Gonzalez is in there, he's going to see me as soon as they go in. It's so late at night. Why is he here?
Mhm.
What is he doing?
Mhm.
Why?
Mhm.
Go home and sleep. Do you have a family? Just go stop being at work. Let me break into your office. Come on.
What would you like to do? The other two is crouched on the lip of the entrance hatch, just peering down.
What did you, what was the read you got in those guards?
I assume we do not want to be talking, and
Oh,
you
no.
could not hear us even if we tried.
There's a
Explicitly
little bit of
Oh, I
unless
was just
Minnie-
talking to Carter. Unless
I would
they
say,
were, like,
I
right
I think
nearby.
actually the two of you can probably, with the beat, we'll move that information to public. I think you can also spot this and you get reminded of the Bolivian situation. It would appear that
I'm
they
going to
have
look
been...
back up the skylight and I'm like, I mean, we're breaking in with the knowledge that this warehouse was like it's been called out by the mob.
We
Like,
still don't really know what they want.
I'm
I'm
gonna look back up the hatch. I'm like,
I'm going to gesture for you to come back. Tactically, this is a terrible thing to be doing.
yeah, I can't. I don't think there's anything else I can do here. I mean, now we've got the lock open. If we can get out, if the three of us can
You
get
could
out
leave it
clean,
open.
We can
we
come back.
leave it open. We know the hatch is there. We know that if we need to get down there, you could drop straight in.
We have information. We could go and be more prepared
company.
and come back. But
Yeah, and then if we need to get there at an emergency, we've set ourselves up for it. So I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna get out of there.
Okay.
Wow.
As you head back towards the entrance, can you please give me a luck roll?
Oh dear.
Okay. You're just about to reach up to grab a hand and be lifted out when the door below opens, and there is a stream of light, and walking through between the containers comes Dr. Gonsalves. He's walking quickly, and he has underneath his hand a bundle of folders, similar, like the manila folders, similar to the ones you receive your operational objectives from. He walks straight through, completely ignores the guards on either side, and they completely disregard him, heads towards the hatch, leans down, grabs it, hauls it open, appears there is no key used, and you can now see underneath there is pale light filtering up. And Minnie, can you give me a listen roll as you're frozen here for just a moment? You're gonna hear some regardless.
I'm gonna lock that. I'm locking that.
Okay, all right. So, crouched up here, you can you hear Gonsalves retreat down. You will note that you will hear footsteps and no talking from further below. So there are other figures down underneath. Gonsalves is not talking to anyone, but there are multiple people underneath, and there's enough of an echo that it sounds like it's a larger section, like it's probably like another warehouse again stored underneath this one. And you also hear, with a success, what sounds like, one, containers being moved around, like things being scraped and shifted, and secondly, the buzzing of some sort of insect or insects.
No.
It's sort of laid over itself and sounds like hordes of very loud mosquitoes.
No. Hate that.
After a moment, the hatch clicks shut once more. And if you want to take your exit, the other two can reach down, grab onto you, and haul you back out and onto the roof.
Does he go back to his office?
He is down the hatch at the moment.
I've got one arm up for Carter, and I'm gonna look at the office and I'm gonna look up at Carter. But there's two guards posted right outside, isn't there?
There's the four guards looking, and they're still looking. You could try and go through the main entrance now, possibly. Up to you.
Is the light still on in the office?
Do you head back up onto the roof with the rest?
From where I am, I can just look and see if there's.
Yes, there is still a light. Yes, coming underneath the door. Sorry, yes.
Okay, so if I went, okay, yeah, so I can't go in from this side basically because they'd spot me immediately.
Not easily.
Yeah, I'll go back up to the roof.
Okay, you jump up. The other two clap your hands and pull you out onto the roof. You can shift it back so it looks secured, and Sam, you finger tight put the bolts back in so it will hold in place, but you could get back in through here without tools in future. From the roof, you can head down and move away. or you can go wherever you want. You now notice, Carter and Sam, you've been keeping watch as this is happening. 2 cars have pulled up on the other side, and stepping out of it look like a bunch of suited goons as they're coming forward. And it looks like the local guards, the ones that have just finished dragging their dog out of the water, and in the distance, that looks like the roar of a boat taking off into the distance, are in a fairly heated conversation. You cannot make it out from here. It doesn't look like gunshots or anything, but it looks very tense. The guards appear to be splitting their this is all at quite great distance, but the guards appear to be kind of splitting their attention between the 6 or 7 people that are outnumbering them, and also gesturing out towards the boat in the distance, which is now slamming into another boat and then careening around and then doing a half donut and then taking itself out to sea.
That sounds good.
A question about like where we are.
Yep.
There is a section of this warehouse that leads to the water.
Yes, that's right.
And is that section also like deeply and well like fenced, or is it more of like
no fence on that side? You can go straight into the water. It would then be a very long swim to anywhere of note, and if anyone's looking for you, pretty clear to see where you are. But
more specifically, because would we be able to use that kind of skirt around the bank, as it were, and just find like a section of brush to like clamber up into and then leave from there, rather than trying to like hop over the fence or something like that?
Yeah, I presented that one when you came the first time as well. If you get to the edge, you could hop into the water and swim around. You'll be soaking wet. That risks compromising weapons, firearms, and things, but you can get out that way. Yeah.
Okay.
The
alternative is
you could also try and send Lancet to get Hubert or something. Like you could try and deliver messages through that way. He is within, he's rapidly leaving bird distance, but so that connection could be rare. But if you need to coordinate these, it'll take a while, but then you can tee up the next phase or whatever.
I think the main thing is like you said that there were lights on in the perimeter, so I'm assuming there's now no section
the
of
walls
fencing.
are very yes, and you can see that enough guards are beginning to come out of the woodwork. Not loads. Like another 3 or 4. Looks like it's a pretty skeleton, but there's a fairly large area.
Could just lie on the roof and wait them out. That's the other option. But the office is unoccupied at the moment. The light's still on, but Dr. Gonzalez went down the hole. And speaking of the hole, I do wonder if the burnt-out site maybe has one of those.
Quite possibly, but I don't think we should be continuing this evening. This has gotten
I know, but I really want to.
I understand, Miss Sinclair, but sometimes the best way to proceed in any given situation is a tactical retreat.
I know.
We are not prepared for this.
We've left this open, so we have an in.
We also have a much better idea about what's in this, how many guards there are, what's going on, the kinds of things we're seeing, and those strange links to Bolivia are worth looking into.
And if the mob do something, we know about the hatch, and anything they do. Whatever is the real deal, it's underneath.
This is a conversation to be had when we are out and safe.
For getting out, I can't see a way that we can get out of here. Do we just wait them out on the roof, or Lieutenant? Do you have a
might just have to camp for a while, eh?
Or we take a bit of a swim.
Oh, but your guns.
What about them?
They'll try.
Okay.
The gunpowder will get wet. That's not something I can replace that. That's not a problem. And surprisingly, a knife tends to be relatively lethal, regardless of whether or not it's damp. It'd be pretty useless if you stab someone, they bled, and your knife stopped working.
Yeah, I'll have to give you my handgun after the dip then, because I'm not as I don't know how to. I mean, I can clean it, but I don't know how to fix that.
You just need to clean it. It should be all right, regardless.
Okay.
Sam, is your bag waterproof at all? Or at least like proofed in some way?
Yes, it is, Keeper.
Your standard medical bag would be leather.
Bag, it should be.
Oh, it'd be
like oil leather.
It actually combusts on contact with water.
It'd be
Jackson.
It's weatherproof. Don't know about waterproof.
You'll lose like the
Well-
bandages and some stuff, but like all the actual important stuff will be waterproof. Yeah, you've got.
but
pretty-
look,
And in bottles and
I'd prefer to get us out of here in one piece, and then get the medical bag out of here in one piece. If you know what I mean.
yeah, all right. Let's take a dip then.
Yeah, I'm going to get my holster for my gun
Mhm.
and just like tie it so it's up higher, because I'm going to try and keep as much of it out of the water as I can. My knife is fine. And I think we established I didn't have any other weaponry on me because we came straight here from the other place. So I will essentially like
You
get
went,
it
you
up
went
so
by
it's more...
Hubert's. You guys could have loaded up.
Yeah,
but-
no, we got the
Oh,
we
we
got
did.
all of our
You had
weaponry.
your
Yeah,
weapon.
we got ourselves kitted out.
All right. Well, I'll
That's
get
fine, yeah.
the essentially like tie the stuff so it's more around my shoulders than around like my waist, so that I can try and keep it out of the water as much as possible.
It's pretty deep. It's all probably getting dunked, unfortunately. But it, like you said, you're familiar with weapons. It can be cleaned on the other side, and you'll lose some power.
That's fine.
It's all great.
If
It's
I'm
more
just going to lose,
temporarily out of
That's fine.
operation than
That's fine.
permanent damage.
If it's not going to be permanent, then I will just leave everything attached and go like, that's fine. It'll just need to clean when I get out, but I won't have my guns until we have a chance to get back.
Okay, so I am going to need everyone to either make a climb roll or a jump roll for the descent.
Climb it is.
I'm going to try jump, I think.
Okay.
Unless one is assisted. Like, no, I'm
For
trying
the
to.
descent, you're trying to get out reasonably quickly as well. It's just gonna be straight for everyone at this point.
Okay.
Not too bad. It's gonna be a D6 damage for anyone that fails. Basically, as you just fall, sprain a little bit, and hobble out towards the shadows.
My jump and climb are the same, so I'm just looking
Which
at
would
a
be
chance to
interested in
tick.
ticking, yeah.
And
that's pretty much
based
what I was
on the
doing as
fact
well.
that I'm all often in a plane, I think jump would be a more useful skill to have.
It's gonna happen eventually. You know it.
Hell yeah. Oh,
Never mind.
nuts. It's gonna be a D6
Have
of
a bonus
damage,
die?
or you can no.
It never hurts to
It does,
The worst
it's
they can
fantastic.
say is no.
I do like, but that one is great because there was no context given for why you think you'd like it.
No,
Just,
I just
can
wanted
I
one.
don't know.
I just wanted one.
Give
Just
it to
because
me.
you like it, Stay.
You can
I mean,
push
that's
it.
why,
You can try
'cause I
and
want one.
You could push it. You've seen a YouTube video of people doing parkour rolls where you go to and you
Sorry.
like land on your head and roll out. That'd be sweet.
I'm pretty sure the only tubes I have are guns.
They're your YouTube.
Very good.
Yeah,
And they're your tubes, yeah.
You are at the talkies, see? That Buster Keaton fella, he sure did throw into a perfectly executed dive roll.
It's alternate black and white parkour videos, and it'll flash up like, you know, when they'd have the text for what they're saying, it would go like parkour and, you know, Mountain Dew. Extreme.
Oh, it's all of the ads from like the Acquisitions Incorporated Cthulhu stuff. Yeah.
Hell
Yeah. Yeah,
I'll
exactly.
take a D6.
Okay, go ahead and take a
Long
D6.
story short.
Ow, fuck.
Oof.
Land on your foot. It twists a little bit, and you all hobble out into the shadows. Now, I'm going to need stealth rolls from everyone as you make your way through the
Oh,
perimeter.
heck.
This is very much under watch, and people are looking for you. Oh, well done. All right, Minnie's leading.
Oh,
Everyone can take a bonus dice, actually, with that extreme from Minnie.
Good.
Really?
Yep.
That's good.
well, you've just 7 points of luck it, I think.
Do I need 7 points of luck, or is the extreme going to save the day?
The bonus dice was saving was the up for
7
grabs.
points of luck.
I mean, I got a hard success regardless, so I'm good.
You're good. So heading around, Carter's like, Minnie stops at one point, like slams her hand into Sam, pulls him back into the shadows. There's 2 guards go past. The perimeter is the most closely being watched. People are definitely heading towards the gate section, and it's beginning to thin out towards the edges. As you all get towards the water line, you sort of, no point hiking up your trousers, it's all going to get soaked. One at a time, you each take the leap down and into the water around the other side. Can I now get swim rolls from all 3 of you?
Oh, what?
Do we
What?
require swim rolls to just drop and try and grab our way across, or is
Absolutely,
this
you do. This is a defended facility, and I'm setting this stage because if you come back this way, it's going to require the same rolls.
Oh, that's fair.
Hard success, not bad.
This is all being done under pressure. There's guards looking for you and things.
Oh,
Baby.
No.
That's all right.
Could it be that the water like reacts with the scarification you have or
Oh
something?
yeah, the
That could-
salt water and the
Please
that's
no.
Gross.
I mean,
No, it's just apparently Area can't fucking swim.
So,
I mean, I can't.
with a fumble, I'm going to do, Carter, you're going to take 6 points of damage. As the first
that's
one
fine.
down, you take a lungful of water, and then hauling up begin to cough, splutter, and it's only as Sam sort of gets under you and hauls you onto the back and begins to swim you out.
I feel like I'm the one hauling Connor out.
Oh yeah, also sorry,
Yeah,
yeah,
that
did
was
Sam? Oh yeah, sorry, Minnie, I saw the wrong roll. Sam, you're going to take a D6 if
Like,
that fails.
what
It's
is
just
everybody doing?
lungfuls of water and hauling it in.
D6?
That's
I
right.
can handle that. I'd rather keep my luck at this point.
Okay, go for it. Please and thank you.
I can
Actually,
handle
do
a
it. Do a D4. Do a D4.
A D4?
Yeah, I think it's more realistic, 'cause
Yeah,
it's
it's, not quite
it's not
falling
too
off
far.
a building.
Yeah, that's
Just
right.
one.
Okay, little.
Do I
little
still
trick.
have to take the full 6 if it's only
Yes,
a
please.
D4?
You
Okay.
fumbled.
I did.
So as
It
you're
was
getting
very funny.
pulled out and away, Sam's
just
sort of
can't swim.
struggling a little bit. You are all in heavy, you've got all your equipment through. The gate does extend slightly past and into it, and this is deep water, so it takes you a while to get out. You're also sort of stalling for a little while before you get to the other side, and then you have to swim along a bit because it is a sharp drop. It is not immediately ladder to get out or anything. So you have to swim along, sticking to the edges. There's barnacles and things crusted onto the side, bikes that people have thrown in, all sorts of content. As you finally get towards a ladder far enough along that you can all haul the three of yourselves out, dripping wet, and finally taking in a breath of fresh air and spitting out the sewerage water that you have swallowed. You can see the warehouse
running my
is
shirt out.
lit up. Lights are on all throughout it, and there is you're probably far enough away now that you actually can't really make it out, but it looked like there was a full standoff going on. I'm going to open this to everyone now. It would be about 3 a.m. at this
Gotta
point,
go.
given the swim probably took a while and stealthily coming and going. Hubert, they will have lost track of you out in the distance, but it's up to you where you want to resurface. Your meeting is at breakfast with
go.
the Mafia.
I
So
mean, I
you've
think
got
we established
time,
that
but-
we were sending. We weren't invited. Only Hubert was. So the three of us were going to
What?
get on with sleeping in the day.
Okay,
A
Hubert's gonna.
bloody disaster.
David, you made reference that I'm going to have to probably take some damage for doing the long swim to shore. Do you want me to resolve that
No.
quickly?
Well, sorry, are you just planning on bail? Well, or do you try and pull the boat in somewhere?
I just try to get out of the situation as messily as possible. So I'm happy to let the
Okay.
boat crash into somewhere. I just want out.
All right.
And I'm not trying to get back close. I'm just trying to get away.
Oh my.
Okay,
That's going to be in the newspapers tomorrow.
Give me a swim roll then.
Sure. Coming up, apologies, I closed my lovely character sheet.
You might need that.
Holy shit, dude!
Critical success. Lucked it out.
What are our rolls this session?
Sometimes
So
it works
We're
out.
gonna miss.
you're able to angle it. Yeah, you drop yourself somewhere not too far out, where there'll be like a beach that you can head up onto. It's still exhausting.
You find
and
a
by the-
sandbar.
But you're verging out of the water as there'd be no one here. I really want some kid playing in the sand and looking up to see Hubert striding out
It's like a fisherman or something, like
Yeah,
some old ass
casting
fisherman,
out.
like
Yeah,
some
the people that get there
ancient.
really young, just as
Yeah.
the sun is rising to have a little fish, will maybe just spot the bald head of Hubert as it breaches the surface, and the rest follows. He just stomps out and up to the rising shoreline.
If
Leviathan emerges.
if I lucked into a critical success there, which I seem to have, I would like to, if I could do a couple of things quickly, I would like to stagger over to a phone booth at some point, pull sopping wet bills out of my pocket and throw them aside, couple of coins.
Yeah.
I would like to make a call. I have a long-term plan. I need to indemnify myself from this. I might have blown a lot of cover, and we're going to have to. I have a few ideas of how we can regain it, but the first thing that we need to do is just make sure that the police can't get a hold of us if Cataseus decides to pursue that route, because I've been named. And I have one way I can do that. I need to get into a fancy party as quickly as I can, so that if anyone asks me where I was, even if I can't get there quick enough to be like, I couldn't have been there, I was at X, because they'll say, oh, you left. It just needs to be uncomfortable enough that I would have to admit that I was partying with, the mayor's kids that evening.
Yeah.
So that if
get a
there's enough
scandal
pull-
ready, so you can counter.
Exactly.
Smoke
Yeah.
bomb.
So
Amazing.
Exactly, and just make sure that people pull out. And I need to. So I would imagine that there are establishments within the upper class of New York that sort of would cater to this, lawyers and accountants who are in that type of world. But I don't think Hubert knows any of them because he's not generally that type of person. So if you'll permit me, I think I call up this one number and I go, Mummy, I've done it again. And I will call up my mother and hand over to her, who I if you'll let me take narrative control, is a bit of a badass. And I try and effectuate that. I'm very happy to make rolls and things.
So, you can begin to see, basically say, hey, I think this might not be great. And I think as you're talking to your mother and running through things, you get a bit of a sense of the situation. Those people that identified you were knocked out, not killed. They will come to it eventually, and they will be able to point at you. That will probably be able to be possibly, it looks like the mafia was on site, so they will possibly also get your identity. And it looked as though they were somehow aware of your affiliation with Chaosium. So it might go through that way as well. You're fairly sure it's a matter of hours into days before your connection to whatever happens tonight, and they might also try and pin things for the recent arson. You're counting down the time before people start becoming immediately aware. It looks like it went mafia first.
So here's my plan, right? First of all, if I can get the police off, then I can still have access to the main weapon that Hubert has, which is just being generally a rich dude, basically. So that's priority one. Second, for Chaosium, I think, and I will ultimately filter this down to the three of you, I think I burn myself. And I think that I get in contact very loudly with Chaosium and start saying, I know what you did you did down in that town, you bastards, and I'm going to tell everyone. And I get them to try and like sort of think that I'm no longer trustworthy, but the three of you are. I can get myself to Iceland, and we can just catch up.
We'll group the four of you back together because I think it stands to reason that you try and get in contact with them and say, hey, let's meet up before this mafia thing. Also, even though you're the only one invited, this is a fairly well-armed organization. You might want others available to support. It's up to you if you want to go solo.
Yeah, I think that's how we were going to do it.
Good way to lose some fingernails. So first, though, the very immediate one is you are immediately trying to call your mother and lay seeds that you were somewhere else. I am going to need to roll, and I think it's probably... It's kind of scheming. It kind of gets in the place of like intelligence to try and pull it out. Maybe fast talk. I tell you what,
sure.
Make a fast talk, and this is going to be... It's not convincing your mother, though. It's seeding things as swiftly as possible. Let's do credit rating. I think it's going to begin at hard. And even hard is not fixing problems. It's probably delaying them.
I understand.
Unless you go around and you immediately go back and kill those two guards that identified you, you're a bit short on options.
So my worry for I actually think my worry for them is that if Chaosium is involved, Chaosium is just going to come in and steamroll both of them. So I'm kind of glad if they survive. But I'll give you a. Is that it?
That's a hard.
Literally perfectly enough luck to bring it to an extreme. And
do you want the extreme?
I want the extreme.
Okay.
I am out of luck.
So again, we are still not solving problems here, but you are delaying them, and you can have a fairly airtight alibi, which brings you back to just your word against theirs. And they it might delay things enough, and the head knock might be enough for them to begin to doubt things, but the information is still shared to both the mafia and presumably later on to Chaosium that you were involved. So if they had their own suspicions or anything, it still gets out there, but you can try and fight that. What do you think your alibi is? What do you get set up with?
I think my mother arrives pretty quickly in a car that she drove herself somehow, hilariously. With like a spare pair of like a spare suit, as if she's done this 100 times for herself. I think, not for me. Within 20 minutes, I am at a very public event that. And then, drinking and partying with a lot of people, that if I were ever to be brought into a courthouse to ask about what happened that night and were to tell everything honestly, a lot of people would have egg on their face. And, the police might be asked to quietly move the investigation along.
Okay. All right. Yeah, let's might as well go big. Let's put you with the mayor and the mayor's,
Hell yeah.
Jason is some sort of debaucherous, party where you can make an appearance long enough.
And
Now,
I have a horrible time, to be clear. I don't want to be.
This also isn't really your scene, but your mother's able to get you an invite, and through a healthy donation, it's, exactly that. Enough that people might not want to look too closely. So police will probably be taken out of the order. Now, this party is going to take you pretty close until your meeting. In fact, it would probably run right up against it, given it's only 3, you'll only arrive by 4, you're going to be there for 3 hours. Now, let's just say that at some point during this, you're able to get word to the others and meet them all. You excuse yourself briefly, and the 4 of you will reconvene in a small cafe. What would it be? It's like 6 in the morning or something across the road. The other 3 of you kind of made your way to Hubert's apartment to... it depends what you want to do, I suppose. Do you want to have tried to get a change of clothes and rearm, or?
Yeah, I mean, we'd already established that even though we weren't invited to this meeting, we were going to hang back and basically just be back up. Like, we were intending to be there.
All right.
So we can always meet Hubert on his, like, we know when the time is, we can always meet him around the corner just beforehand.
Okay. All right.
Yep.
That gives us time to get change of clothes and...
Change of clothes, clean weapons.
Okay.
Yeah. A power nap.
Catch an hour of sleep, and then the 4 of you will reconvene. At this point, then, we'll say it is about 6:30. You are meeting just down the road from where you intend to have the meeting, and you have about a half an hour to make preparations. The expectation is that Hubert will meet with Bresciani and presumably some of their soldiers, because you spoke about your suspicions with Caduceus and you wanted to basically offer information and swap teams. The other 3 of you have not necessarily been pinned by it, and as far as you're aware, no one is aware of your break-in operation at the warehouse last night. They're only aware of Hubert's. Hubert, you're pretty sure you got identified, though, and the contact that they called was Philip Rapper, so that's probably the person who knows who you are. And they're fairly senior in the organization. That will probably be... There is a very, very good chance you are going into that meeting and he's going, "Why were you at the docks?" is the first question. And he's probably got a gun pointed at you while he's asking it.
Yeah,
There's a little part of you that goes, maybe I just don't show.
Yeah, I think that's probably the idea.
I'll pass to the 4 of you to scheme.
Well, I have a couple of ideas.
Please, I'm all ears.
Hear him.
And it's very simple. Mr. Smith, you were chatting rather amicably with the head of Caduceus, yes?
Yes, I was.
And unless I'm mistaken, forgive me, I did overhear your conversation with... what's the head of Caduceus?
He was speaking with Gonsalves, was the most recent conversations.
I wasn't speaking.
That's the one,
It wasn't meeting yet.
I'm speaking with
It was
Gonsalves.
like, hey, if you do something good, I'll get you that meeting with Meadham.
That's the one. And I will at this point explicitly mention that I heard that conversation. And say I understand that they were asking you to get something.
Yes.
So, and as far as the mob is concerned, based on what you said, they believe that you're working against Caduceus. So why not play both sides off each other? The reason you were there, as far as the mob is concerned, is because you wanted to find more information about what was going on in the hopes that you were able to provide that information to the mob as a show of good faith. And for Caduceus, you were there because you had heard, that there was mob affiliations to fire, and you were doing that again to prove that you have a vested interest in the safety of what's going on with Caduceus's property and information.
I think that is a good idea in that if we commit it, it might be hard to sell. But if we commit to it and we push it forward, we might be able to get them to not.
Mr. Smith, we don't have to do anything.
Yes.
As far as they're aware, you're the only one they've come to with this. If you could get this for us, then please continue. They don't know that we. Like, they explicitly said to you, tell your companions if you wish, but you don't have to. You could, in fact, be playing us for fools as far as they're aware, and I have absolutely no problem in going along with a ruse in as far as...
If it keeps us all alive.
My thought is, what do we want? from Cadiseus at this point? What do we want from the mob? And what are we trying to get from them? My thought is that them trusting me, I don't think it's going to be very easy for me to regain sort of a man on the inside opportunity with either of them.
Well,
At the very least, you possibly came across as grossly incompetent as well.
Yes,
if this was a break-in, you bungled the fuck out of it. Because you intentionally tried to appear drunk and draw their attention.
Yes, yeah. So I think the best plan would be for me to cut and burn at this point. I think that I can possibly get the three of you in deeper by basically, and also I'm the one who probably has the best chance of being able to kind of get around and. My thoughts would be I get in contact with Caduceus and I kind of make loud proclamations that I know what they're doing and that I'm going to tell the three of you. And then the three of you can use that as a cover to get in closer with Caduceus.
I don't think so. I don't think so, no. I think that is just going to get you dead very quickly. They're going to, if you say that they're going to kill you, have we seen anything that presents the idea that Caduceus are above that? They're not. They killed the whole village.
If we don't care about the mob, because I mean there was a chance we're going to try and get them on side.
I still think we can
against Caduceus.
I still think we can. I think there's a schism in the mob, and they don't know that Bresciani's skin on is
no.
that.
But I suspect that may be something that we have to deal with separately.
Yes,
and go around Bresciani's skin on to Banano.
Yes, I think I'm just going to have to show up at that stupid cafe, but with more information later on. Yes. Not right now. No, yes, this is a later thing. We've got more information. So.
We don't need your contact with Bresciani. I think now we know.
I don't think we want any contact with Bresciani's skin on.
No. Caduceus, on the other hand, I'm not sure you've entirely burnt those bridges. And I don't think you have to. I think there is a reasonable opportunity to say, either you try and lie to them and say I wasn't there at all and this person recognized someone else and I was at this party all evening and what on earth is going on, and hope that that covers it. You weren't actually seen by anyone from Caduceus. They didn't see any of us. And but if that doesn't work, then quite frankly, play up the I was just trying to impress the head of the organization, show my willingness to get involved, act the fool, and then come back with those canisters as a way of going, look, I may have fucked that up, but at least I did what you asked me to. Please and thank you. I think you can get around it that way. Do not burn your bridges with Caduceus. We need them to trust all of us for the simple reason.
Because they kill people.
Yes, yes.
Because we're going to kill them. And if we're going to do that, we're going to need a lot of inside information, and we're going to need to be in the building at the time.
Yeah, we can't burn Cadiseus. We can't. We just can't.
I think that if I just very quickly, I apologize. If I come back to any Cadiseus institution at this point, I'm going to get taken into a room and questioned, and there is a very good chance that I don't come out of it. I want to
play the fool.
I've secured my alibi. I want to get on a plane to Iceland, and then if I come not via Caduceus, I can get myself there. I can just go, all right, come back with what they want and use that as a bargaining chip immediately.
I think that's reasonable.
Okay.
I suppose in that case,
I don't think you should take this meeting.
Yes, no. I agree. I think I will go now and I will reconvene in Reykjavik with the collection.
So, because I'm aware of the time, the understanding is that you are not planning to attend the meeting with Bresciani. You could also, now that plane is kind of like ready to go. The four of you could just go there now.
Actually,
and say,
we could just jump
sleep
on the
plane. You've kind of been given that authority. You can outrun the phone calls that might try and stall it. And you could leave now. And next session we will go straight to Iceland.
I think we just hightail to Iceland.
Run from all your troubles. And you go, no. And then when you come back, we just figure out what's going on.
If anything, usually do.
If anything, it'll confuse them. I like it.
Like,
Yeah, if he's not trustworthy, why is he getting on the plane? Like, yeah.
I was this is
No, yeah, I think that's a good idea. I think we just go to Iceland.
There's also a reasonable thing of, well, I had an alibi where I was at a party all night, and then I immediately got on the plane the next morning. I couldn't possibly have done anything.
What are you talking about? Yes.
you were outpacing. You were living before. I also like Cadisaius aren't necessarily stupid. They are aware of your connections to one another, and they've probably got a dossier somewhere that goes like, loyalty tested, notes, group cohesion, factor 7, unlikely to, like, you've probably been being monitored fairly closely. Seating, you'd have to play it
so
up.
what you're saying is you just got to do some real cook shit to screw up all of their metrics.
Yeah, you'd have to kind of bring proof. Like, if you want to do a Hubert betrays the rest of you, he'd probably need to lightly betray the rest of you. You'd really need to sell it. I assume these people are, especially the higher ups, reasonably intelligent and deadly.
No, I think it's fine to not have him betray us necessarily, but we're not explicitly in the loop about everything.
Well, yeah, we're just being left out of the loop.
The other one's also just that they probably are, one way or the other, they're probably coming out of this very suspicious of the four of you, especially Hubert.
Whatever. They seem like a naturally suspicious organization. Yeah.
If they're doing, it's the classic thing. People that are being sneaky, and deceitful assume everyone else is as well. So they probably,
They already are. They just happen to be right this time.
Well,
fantastic.
All right. So if we get straight on the plane, all of us, then we avoid some phone calls and can potentially. There's an argument to be said for we're doing the job you've asked us to do. So we're obviously still on your side.
Yeah. There can be suspicions, and as long as, they're still value proved, then, you can maybe they won't act on them.
As long as we're still good at our jobs.
Yeah. And
they might just decide that we're disposable and send us into really dangerous things.
The other thing, though, is
unlike the other adventures.
There is one other avenue here, which I think is rather interesting. We've just done something incredibly stupid, or at least Mrs. Smith has done something incredibly stupid. Now we're about to get on a plane, go to Iceland, get a bunch of things that these individuals want, and the offer on the table was if we manage to get these, then Mr. Smith gets a meeting. Now I have a suspicion that meeting might still go ahead, even if they are suspicious of you, because they might want a chance to chat to you one-on-one to work out what the fuck is going on. And we can absolutely play that to our advantage.
Yeah.
I mean, come now, if you're going to take out an entire organization, first thing you need to do is cut off its head.
Yeah. Look, either way, you've definitely gotten some information, and maybe you've played a portion of your hand, but you've still got other cards to be dealt. Lost the metaphor midway through.
That's all right. We know where you're going with it.
Steve.
That's way better. God damn, fuck. But the plan is still, as I understand it, to head to Iceland at the beginning of the next one. And then you could always try and re-tee up the meeting at another point.
With the mob.
Yeah. Or whoever, whatever you want to do.
Well, I mean, we can always just tell them we had to urgently get on a plane. If we do want to re-tee it up, but I don't think that we should. I don't think we should need Bresciani's skin on. I think he's a monster.
Either way, so the plan from next session, as we'll leave the things here with the four of you no longer soaking wet, but still exhausted.
Oh no, Dave, just put us on the plane. We can pick up on the plane.
We're on the plane. That's all I need.
We are.
So as we leave you all here, and we'll pick up next time on the plane. You have, uncovered some information. You might have made some enemies. Maybe there's a chance to reconcile things. But one way or another, the next time you're back in New York, the tension will absolutely be ramped up, and you'd best assume that every lurking shadow is in fact watching you. You are in fact being followed, and you are not safe anywhere you go. We'll leave things there, and we will return in a week in Iceland. What fun! And I promise this time I had a quick skim through the scenario just a moment ago. It's just nice. You guys go to like a sauna for a while. It's very relaxing. Nothing bad happens.
Great.
So tune in for that. Beach episode.
Can I get some fucking sick tattoos from Iceland, like the traditional, yeah, like the Scandinavian stuff to cover up the snake bullshit, because they know if it's Scandinavia as
we'll figure it out.
Is kind of the Norse stuff, which means that they have the world python that eats like the world. I want that.
Yeah, hell yeah.
No spoilers.
The world python.
Different flavor of snake. Right.
No spoilers.
Fantastic. Well, we'll park things there. So thank you everyone for tuning in, and thank you the four of you for playing. We will see you.
Thank you for keeping.
Oh, thank you. We'll see
thank
you all
you for
in a
letting
week.
us ruin your plans.
Ruin
every
Not even
week.
Close. All right. We will see you all in a week. Bye.